Yo, IG, what's happening? It's Faithin. So I know a lot of people who might be watching this are from Wisconsin right now, and I could totally understand if this evening is just a sad evening for some of y'all. For us Packer fans, just the devastation of losing yet another NFC Championship game is tough to swallow. And it's crazy. Like, I really feel a sense of urgency to make this video. So, um, it's crazy because I got to watch the game, and I was over at one of my homies' places watching the game, and we were driving home. I was with my dad, and I was with my lovely lady Paige, and we're driving home, and we're just talking about the game, about what went wrong, and all this stuff. And it reminded me, it took me back to a time when I was a high school basketball player, and my high school basketball team, we just ended up losing a dogfight to an opponent. And it just reminded me of driving back from after the game with my dad when I was in high school, and just like talking about how the refs missed a certain call at a certain point of the game, or how so-and-so missed a shot and cost us this thing, and like just breaking it down and talking about it until we're blue in the face. And it's just crazy because, like, I was thinking about it, as we're talking about the Packer game, and I was like, man, like, this really feels awful. And then the thought came into my mind, like, am I really just going to, like, feel awful right now about the Packers losing the NFC Championship game? You know, it got me, like, it really got me thinking a lot, because I just have thought back on so many of the things that have happened just, at the start of 2020, all throughout 2020, and even, like, now, like, in early 2021. And I just, like, I'm just at this point, family, and keep in mind, I've been a Packer fan my whole life. I love the Packers, like, literally my favorite sports team, right? And that's saying a lot, because I've always been a hooper, and I love the Milwaukee Bucks. But, like, the Packers, right? Favorite sports team ever. But, like, I'm just at a point, bro, in my life, like, whoever's listening to this, like I don't have, like, the emotional capacity to be upset about this Packers loss. Like, that's just facts. I don't. Like, I don't have it in me. Like, there are just so many things that have gone on, like, in my life personally. I know for everybody else too, with everything that's happened, like, I just don't have the emotional capacity to like internalize this Packers loss and be upset about it. Like, I'm over it, like, for real. So I know that's, like, offensive to some Packer fans out there, but it's just the truth. But with all that being said, like, it's really, like, I've really just, like, had this thought, like, with all this, where I'm like, man, like, how do I, like, get out of this, like, feeling bad about this Packers loss? And it just got me thinking about the fact that I was watching the game, with my dad, who, I don't always get to spend a lot of time with, and the friends that I was with, like, I don't always get to spend a lot of time with them. And, like, I'm just like, man, like, I just actually appreciated this time, like, together with, like, like, my family and, like, people I care about. And, like, the fact is that, like, we got together and, like, we loved each other, you know what I mean? And it really just got me thinking, and I got a lot of, like, clarity, and just some things that I've been, like, wrestling with, personally, like, throughout, 2020 and into 2021. So, I mean, just to be 100% honest, like, I'm making this video because this is just, like, really what I'm on right now. And, like, for me, like, I always just feel the need to, like, I just need to say my piece. And as long as I say my piece, like, I'm good. But, like, man, the truth is, when 2020 started, like, I really feel like God was calling me to be a full-time hip-hop artist. Like, a full-time hip-hop artist, which means, like, to literally deny, like, any type of full-time occupation that would take, like, my time, my energy, and attention, and literally take the financial sacrifice and the socioeconomic sacrifice that went with that, and just focus on this music. Like, that's what I felt like God called me to do in 2020. So I did that. And what that meant was, that literally meant being called into the culture and being a hip hop artist as a full-time occupation, right? Let me tell you the job description for a hip hop artist as a vocation or as an occupation. The job description for a hip hop artist is to go into the culture, okay, and take your influence and influence the culture. Like, that is literally the responsibility of a hip hop artist. It is to be in culture and to influence the culture and to monetize that influence, to make a career out of it. That is the job description, okay? So that's what I felt like God called me to do. So it's just always been really interesting that the year God called me to do that was literally the year that we saw the most polarizing political spectrum that we've ever seen. And we are literally going into 21 in a full-out culture war, okay? A full-out culture war. So obviously me, like, trying to figure out a career in the midst of all this it's been something, bro. It's been borderline traumatic for me, if I'm being like 100% transparent with y'all. Like, it's been crazy. You know what I'm saying? And God has really like taken me through like this whole thing throughout the course of this year. And I think especially just in the last like 2 months, there's just been a number of factors that have contributed to me spending literally a season of just like deep study, like reading a lot of different things. I'm reading the Bible, like not just like once a day, like for long extended periods throughout my days, like spent in scripture, like from the time I wake up to the time I go to bed. And I've been really like exploring some things, and like I realized, like, that my time has been spent in a way that may be a little bit different than a lot of the people, around me in my life, or maybe people that people in the same like with the same cultural experience that I've had. And here's what I've realized. This is it. This is just what I've realized. There is a dialogue that is going on in this culture war, in this polarized political environment, that straight up, it is like the whole war itself is fueled by hate. Like the whole war is fueled by hate. So literally you have one side, like one political side, that is fueling a hate narrative, which is then causing another side to then react to that side with an equal amount of a hate narrative. So literally you just have two sides that hate each other. Hate, right? Okay? And it's the same thing when you look at the different cultural issues that we've seen throughout, that have been happening for as long as they've been happening, but really has been magnified this year. And it's so interesting because the language and the way to fight in war from a worldly perspective is to repay hate with hate. Like, that is code for the world. Like, if somebody attacks you, like, you attack them back. That is the way of the world. But let me tell you, like, that is not what my Bible is. That is not what my Bible says, and that is not what I've realized is that is not what God has called me to do. He's called me to be a soldier. He's called me to fight, but it's the way we fight that is important as Christians. We don't fight by, like, our definition as heavenly citizens is not fighting with violence. We're still fighting. It just looks different as a heavenly citizen. Oh my goodness, fam. Like, oh man, there are some people that, may have no idea what I'm talking about, and that is cool, man. I'm just saying, this is what I am on right now, fam. Like, I don't care. Like, if I have to completely remove myself from this whole thing, I'm going to fight this fight with the love the true love of Christ. And honestly, like if you really want to like just for some scripture to just like reference like what I'm talking about or like where I felt like this speaking to me, go and look at First Timothy 1. Just go and look at First Timothy 1 and read that joint. Read it. Like, people are engaging in meaningless conversations, fam. And there are a lot of people out there that are engaging in these conversations, wearing the banner and claiming the grace of God, going into these conversations when that ain't the grace of God. That's hate. That's hate. Bro, like, I said what I said. That's it. That's what I'm on. Like I said, like, if this is the only thing I say in 2021, I'm cool with it. I'm cool with it. But I'm just on something else, man. I'm on something that's not natural to this world. I'm on something that doesn't come from a human like mind. It comes from a mind that isn't like of me. This isn't me, fam. Like like I can't tell you how many times like I've this isn't like, you know what I'm saying? Like if I really like if there was like a camera like following me like through like all the steps and all the processes that I went through this year on this journey, like you will see that I landed on my face a number of times. But I can tell you right now that this that I'm on, it ain't me. Like we're called to do something different. We're called to fight different. And like anybody who's listening to this, especially if you call yourself a Christian, like I really encourage you to look at how you're fighting. So that's it. Faith in, you know what? Congratulations to Tom Brady. It is what it is. I'm not losing any sleep over this Packers loss, even though it is sad, but I ain't got the emotional capacity for it. That's just facts. And, you know, shout out to the Chiefs for making it to the Super Bowl. And, man, it's gonna be a great year. It's gonna be a great year. I'm gonna quote this man because, you know, I don't just like follow anything that this man says, but like he usually has some good things to say. And I'm gonna agree with this statement that this will be your best year if it is your best year spiritually. That's what I'm on. That's a Mike Todd quote. Anyways, y'all have a great Sunday night. Have an amazing Monday. Wake up with that joy and that love and that peace in your heart. And take care. Peace.